All right, I'm on hole number 5 of the Holiday Hills tournament. I'm in Monday's practice round in the rookie division. Just going out and making sure today's goal is to make sure I got the right driver and the right ball. And then tomorrow I will start trying to dial in the second shot. Today I'm not as concerned with it. I just want to make sure I'm ending up what areas I'm ending up and what kind of top spin or back spin or what it takes to get myself into the right spot. I'm trying to get up here into my short iron range. So you have choices here: short iron, long iron, wood. I'm not a fan of this area out here just because when you come in, man, it's a really tight landing area up here. You're definitely going to need a backspin club. Um, Over here, there is an opportunity. You can kind of come out the hole a little bit flatter because you've got a little bit of an opening here where the way the green works, here's the flagpole and it's uphill all the way around, but there is a little teeny bit of a flat area here that you can run up to it. I prefer to bring something that's got backspin. If you're hitting up into here with your short iron, you definitely want to bring a short iron that's got backspin. So everything in the top part of my bag is going to be geared towards that. I'm going to bring, just in case I ended up out here long or ended up, I'm going to make sure I bring a Guardian. I'm going to bring a Saturn, and I'm going to bring a Claw because my Claw's got better accuracy than my Thorn. Even though the Thorn's got better ball guide, when you're doing a full backspin shot, that ball guide isn't as big a factor. If you were trying to run it up to it, the ball guide's definitely a factor, but when you're doing a full backspin shot, it's not as important. Now, if you're finding yourself out here in these rough areas, if you're over here in the rough, you get caught up over here in the rough, you're going to wish you had your Nirvana or one of, a big hitting rough iron. If you end up here in the rough, you're going to wish that you had a Houdini. So I can scramble and get this done with a Nirvana. It's not the preferred club, but I can scramble and get it done, but I can't get it done back here with a Houdini. So I'm going, or excuse me, a machete. Sorry about that. So I'm going to bring my normal suspects, my usual suspects in the bottom of my bag. Let's see if we can get rid of it. And I'm going to go for that short iron shot, and I'm going to use a combination of the black and white line. I'm going to start off on the side where the black line's at, and I'm going to bring it back to the side with the white line. So Saturn, I'm going to switch this out for a Claw. Once you get one of these other clubs, if you get your Falcon way up there where you've got accuracy and backspin, this would be a shot for that. Even though the ball guide's not as good as your Thorn, this could be a shot for it, because when you're doing those full backspin shots, it's not as key that you have ball guide, but I think that my Claw is better on this shot than my Thorn. Could be argued either way. I'm going to bring my Spitfire and my Nirvana because if I do get caught way back there, I'm going to need it. I played this earlier today. I'm going to bring a Titan so I can use the wind. With a level 9 extra mile, and I didn't use quite all the top spin, but it looks like you could probably put on all of the top spin. That 16, 18 extra top spin that a level 9 extra mile gets, plus the little bit of distance, really changes how that club, engages some of these holes. So I went out there, I didn't put on quite all of the top spin and ended up right about in this area. So I had a lot of room left. So the next time I come, I'm going to try it. What I don't want is you don't want to overdrive that and end up in the rough out there. So I don't like going to the middle like my opponent, because look at that little hill that they're on, that little spigot that they're on right there. And they hit that grate to the left, they're going to get a totally different trajectory than if they would have hit that perfect. And that's exactly what can happen. It's massive. So I want to end up in the center fairway, but I'm not going to engage all of that weird terrain down there. I'm going to start off on this side right here, and I want to give myself tons of room. So all the side spin, all the top spin. I want to give myself plenty of room out here to hit a grate to the left or the right. Now it's 4 miles per hour, so that's 2 rings. So that's up against my orange ring. I'm going to pull my orange ring right in that area. And hit a grate to the left, about 2 rings. And I should easily clear out here because I left myself tons of room. I'm not pinching myself up. to me, that shot right there is, I mean, you can, if you catch that good, you could be in some serious trouble. But you have so much more leeway by starting off on the far right and then bringing it back to the left than you do if you're trying to go straight forward through that maze of different leveled terrain like my opponent did. And they did not set that shot up right if they wanted to do a hook. Hopefully they will not forfeit on me. Now this is not a high percentage par 4, but you can get it done. I'm going to try not to use so much backspin and try and just bleed that sucker into the hole. What I didn't do there, my mistake, was I didn't see where I was at in my club. So I'm just going to do a max adjustment, which is 1.5 per ring. Isn't it perfect? A little bit on the inside. So I either should have checked where I was at, but when it's coming down that hill, gravity's pulling it farther to the left. So it's either going to be one of those things you need to start it off a little bit more on the right-hand side of the cup so that as it goes down the hill and gravity is pulling it to the left, it'll come in. But that was my mistake for not seeing where I was in my club. I was probably more towards mid-club, and I over-pulled it right there. I'm going to miss my putt because I do not want to qualify, but I want to be able to go for it on all these holes. So the deal is that sometimes you'll catch an Albie or something. I've had teammates do that where they're trying not to qualify and then they get up there and they catch an Albie because we're really trying to go for those shots. They catch an Albie and then all of a sudden they're at the bottom of the qualification. One of my teammates one day was out there and a couple people above them decided on the last few holes that they didn't like their round, so they went ahead and forfeited and ended up getting bogeys and pulled him up into the top 10. 2 shots ahead of him. All right. So I like the drive shot there. I like where I'm ending up. That was my mistake for not checking to see where I was in my club, but that's definitely the landing zone and start off spot that I want out there because it gives me tons of room for maneuver. You can make a slight error by hitting a 2-ring grate one side or the other and still end up in the clear. But if you engage that hole by coming through this area right here, this right here is going up like this. So if you hit it perfect where you wanted, you're fine. But if you hit it down low like my opponent, it throws you off flat. And just like my opponent, you end up in that sand. You hit it up high and it's going to throw you off drastically to the right and you can end up in this rough. So your only hope here, Obi-Wan, is that you get a perfect and it goes right down the middle. I mean, that's it. If you don't hit it perfect, you're in trouble. Whereas if you're hitting from out here in this area, you hit it great to the left or the right. I left myself tons of room. I mean, I've got all kinds of room that I can maneuver out here. So big fan of, if you want to be in the middle, I think the best way to do it is to start off on the right. If you're going to go on the yellow line, you do not have to put on max topspin. You'll end up bleeding off into that. I mean, it is a little bit of a difficult shot because here's the deal here. If you go on the right, let me pull this up. I haven't really talked about the shot on the right, but the shot on the right is probably the most common shot on this hole. If you're coming to the right, your first bounce is here. The difficulty is your second bounce is right here. You're just clear. If you put on all the topspin so that you can give yourself more distance here, because you put topspin on and it stretches it out so that the ball is out a little bit farther, the deal is if you hit it perfect, you're going to end up bleeding into the rough. So there's a fine line. But if you hit it to the left, everything to the left, you got to hit it a little bit farther. So if you're in that area and you hit it right here, you're perfect. We draw the line here, but everything to the left, you got to hit the ball farther. in order to get it into the fairway. And what you'll find is you'll clip that rough and you'll end up out in this area. And you still got a great shot from there. But, ideally you want to be a little bit closer to the front. So if you're hitting the shot out here, it's a fine line. You get out here, you can't put, your ball guide's going to be going like this. And a lot of times people put curl on it to bring their ball up in here. And when they put the curl on, then they clip the rough, because the farther to the left you go, the farther you have to hit the ball in order to get into the fairway. So there's a real fine line here between putting on too much topspin and not quite enough. And you got to watch your curl when you're taking that shot to the left. All right. That was hole number 5 of the Holiday Hills Tournament and Monday's practice round in the rookie division. Thanks for watching.